Hello, everyone. Hello, Ioana, Corcodel. It's nice to see you again. It's a pleasure to have this video Zoom invitation with you. I take this decision because I see that many talented people they are working in this industry, but especially you, because you are a younger yacht designer. How old are you and where are you from?
So thank you for the invitation. I am 24 years old and I'm from Romania.
Maybe you can tell, sorry?
From Romania, Brașov.
Oh, that's nice town.
Yes.
From the mountains. Well, the people, I think they're gonna be interested. How did you become a yacht designer and how long have you been doing it?
So I've been doing it for around 2-3 years now. And I became an actual yacht designer when I decided to go to the master degree in Milan, in Politecnico di Milano. There is a specialized master for yacht designers. So when I was in university, in my second year of university, I decided that I want to pursue this career. And at first it was just a challenge for me, being from Romania, to see if I can do it. And I started studying on my own about yacht design and eventually got into the master and started to actually like it very much. And I realized that it's the perfect job for me. So.
Thanks. I am so happy when I'm hearing the person that they found the passion in the job that they are doing. So that means you do it with pleasure, not by forcing by someone. Maybe how long actually it was taking your school to become a yacht designer, and what does it mean exactly to be a yacht designer?
So my school, the master that I was telling you about, it's around 1 year, but the classes are around 6 or 7 months. And then you have an internship that can be 3 or 6 months. So depending on each student, depending on what they want to do. Because the master, it's called yacht design, but it's not only about design. So you can do exterior and interior, but if you are interested also in, let's say, being a project manager or being a broker, you can also, they have lessons also for this. So they are preparing everybody for what they want to do. So then the internship depends from person to person. So it takes around 1 year. And what was the other thing you asked?
How it is to be a yacht designer? What does actually do? What does you do usually by day as a work?
Everything. So that's the fun thing about the job for me. It's you are involved in every part of the project. So me, I am an exterior designer. That's what I wanted to do from the beginning. And this is my specialization. It's for exterior. But at the same time, you cannot do just one part of the project. So I do the exterior and then somebody else does the interior. And then in the end, we put them together. So you have to be involved in every aspect of the project, from the meeting with the client where he gives you the brief of what he wants, and then to the concept part, and then in the technical part, you have to know a little bit of everything. So that's very interesting. This is what I like most about my job. And I think it's the perfect combination between the artistic designing part and let's say, I like to call it architecture and engineering. So it's the perfect blend between these two, between artist and technical designer.
Well, just to mention to the people that they are watching this video, Ioana Corcodel, she was mentioned to be in the event of Yacht Designers, the youngest designer nominee. No, you can explain a little bit more what was happening there and why did they choose you?
Yeah, so this competition called the Young Designer of the Year, it's very important for young designers. So since we are talking about how to start in this career and how to begin, also if you are from, let's say, a country that doesn't really have anything to do with this industry, this competition is really good because they give a fair chance to everybody to enter and to present their project. So you don't have to have a school in the industry, or you can enter, doesn't matter where you are from, what are you doing as a job, and so on. So I entered in this competition, and actually I submitted also last year in this competition, but my project was not the best. And they were super nice because they gave you feedback. So if you don't go into the final, you can text them and say, okay, what I did wrong. And they gave me all this really good feedback, which helped me very much in the next year. So there was also a finalist from a few years ago that was saying that it's really important to be consistent. So if you don't get it the first time, just keep trying, because it's very good for practice, and eventually you will get it. And so I got into this competition, and I got into the final, and we got an invitation to the when they were presenting the award for the young designer. They were doing it at the Milan Super Yacht Design Festival. And that was actually my first big event in this industry, where I met all the people, and I had the most amazing conversations ever that I was waiting for 3 years since I started. So they got us all there, all the finalists, and they did special events for us, for networking, and for us to meet people and to be able to talk about your project and about yourself, and eventually maybe even get a job from those people, because it was only company owners at the event. So it was a great opportunity. And it's not just you after you get into the final, they are doing many events for us all year round. So it's not just one and then it's done. You have many opportunities to meet people.
Like which one other design in which countries can be? Like other countries? Sorry?
Who can sign up for the competition?
No, I mean like yacht designers summit competition in another countries than Italy.
But this doesn't have anything to do with Italy. So the competition is made by Boat International, which is from the UK, and in a collaboration with Ochanco from the Netherlands. So it was in Milan this year because the festival was in Milan. So, and also next year is also in Italy, but it doesn't have anything to do with Italy, because like I said, it's UK and the Netherlands who are organizing the competition.
Okay, if I am correct, you was nominated for the youngest girl in the competition. Am I right?
Yes, it was mentioned.
Well, congratulations for that. And now I want to present one of your biggest project and nice project that you do. I think you are very talented girl, and you're going to have a success in your future. Let us know if this project, it was for Ochanco, for Netherlands as well. So maybe I'm gonna share here some screen. Yeah, one of your project called Ophelia. Yeah, motor yacht. Yeah. So you did this project, this design. Please explain a little bit what exactly you did here, and because I see it's amazing.
Thank you. So this was the boat for the competition, and they gave us, to give you the context of the competition, they give you the technical, how do you say, the planning of the boat, more or less. This year it was more interesting because they gave us also the propulsion system for the boat, which was a hydrogen boat. It was a platform for hydrogen from Lateral Naval Architects, who are doing an amazing job with innovation in this industry. And the difference this year was that because of this hydrogen platform, the planning of the boat was different. So you had more space, because usually the engine room is on 2 floors and it takes a lot of space. This year in the competition, it was you had the full free deck in addition. to the ones from last year. So you had a lot of freedom to do the general arrangement in a new way. So this was the goal of the project.
So this is the Yacht Designer Award for this year, 2022. It's called Motor Yacht Ophelia. It's 65 meters, eco-friendly yacht. What does it mean, eco-friendly yacht?
So it means that, like I said, this propulsion system, it's hydrogen. So that was the first key feature of the boat. And then everybody had the freedom to implement new ideas for the boat to be eco-friendly. So for example, I did, as you can see here, I took my inspiration, because I take my inspiration from architecture a lot. And I started thinking, before doing any design, before doing the styling of the boat, I was like, okay, what features do I want to have on this boat? And I discovered this building with the kinetic panels. Here, they don't have anything to do. They are just for decoration. But I was thinking that if they can put it on buildings, then for sure we can put it on boats, also if they are this big of a size. So first I knew that I needed a lot of window space. So you can have a lot of natural light, which is something that clients are always looking for. So you have the natural light, and then adding the kinetic solar panels, this is what I call them. It's they have a system that can open and close depending on how the sun goes inside. So to go back to the eco-friendly feature, if you have this system for the panels, then you don't need to use as much AC in the boat, because the panels know how to move around the sun. So you use less energy in the boat. So this was one idea. And the next idea is the solar panels integrated on the deck, as we will see further, on the deck and also around the boat.
AC does mean air conditioning for some abbreviations. Wow, I think it's an amazing project. Actually, there are some few boats around the world eco-friendly already, and the future is going through more on this range. Mood boards.
Yeah, so this file is more of how the project goes. So how do you start, and then how do you keep going with the project? And so first you set your technical parts and what do you need, and then you start building the concept around those. And here for the mood board, I just wanted something very sleek, simple, minimal, because the main thing about the boat was not the design itself. Of course, it has to be nice, but the main feature of the boats, those had to be emphasized, not the design. So I went for something very simple with a lot of glass, with just classic, simple design.
And here we have, sorry.
Yeah, the first sketches of the boat, where it's a little bit of everything. It's overall the design, and then details for the interior, for some parts of the deck. Of course, the sketching process is much bigger than what is here.
Yeah, of course.
Papers over papers over papers. So.
The rendings and all of that. So here it is how it's in the end looks like, no?
Yes, this was the profile of the final 3D for the boat. And then here it's this was the first general arrangement. So the first sketch. This is how I usually start. I have the technical spaces and the structure of the boat, the sizes and the proportions overall. And then I go in and sketch all the details. And here in this stage of the boat, you have to place all the rooms, because in the competition, they give you the square meters for each room. So you have to keep those the same. You cannot change that. So you just have to keep moving around all the rooms and fit them in the boat. So they fit. And this is the most fun part of the project for me.
Yeah. So it's like one owner decide to make a yacht, and you stay together with him, ask him what exactly he does for his new yacht, and you start the design. how long it's taking to make a yacht design according to this range size of this yacht?
So now we are talking about reality and not the competition.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think it's maybe around 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Let's say. So
Yeah.
I think it's not that long actually.
It's not that long for like this jewelry, let's say, yeah, because they are the most expensive objects on this planet. And yeah, to build it in the shipyard also is taking few years, but when it's coming on the launching from the shipyard, it's an amazing sensation. Some of the interior design.
Yes, so I usually go into the interior after I finished with the exterior. And what I think it's important is to keep a good balance between your exterior and interior. You don't want them to be super different. They have to have this connection. So everything needs to be in balance. So if we have an eco-friendly boat, then I used a lot of greenery inside. And I think I'm trying to apply in my boats now this idea of having a lot of gardens, and maybe having also in my next project, I want to do a vertical garden where you can do agriculture inside, so not just for decoration. So this is what I'm going for, and this was the first, I tried to apply it here first to see the public reaction, and it was good. People like this kind of things, so.
Yeah, I think you have a good vision for what it will going to happen in the future. And it's not eco-friendly by exterior, also by interior and by everything.
Yeah, of course.
Together.
Yes, of course, it's also about the materials that you use. So it's, you can do a lot of things. So here I put, this is a render of Ophelia, and then the smaller boat, it's actually a project from my school, which was my first motor project. And I think it's nice to see the difference between the designs, because this one, the small one, I didn't know exactly how to do the lines of the boat. So I went a little bit crazy, and it's not very practical compared to Ophelia. So I think it's a nice comparison to see.
Yeah, in this world, the designers, same like you, start to come with new ideas, and some people that they make, extravagant design just to show up more with something different than the normality in this yacht design. And it's pretty cool, it's so nice. You have an amazing, extraordinary vision of what you can do.
Yes, well, actually, this is a sneak peek of my next project that I'm doing in a collaboration with one of my classmates from the master. So this is going to be Ophelia 2.0, kind of. It's the same concept, eco-friendly boat with hydrogen propulsion, but it's going to be much more thought out, with much more research into it.
Okay.
So this is what you can expect in the next year to see this boat.
Just wait to see that then.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
And you were saying about the extravagant projects, which I don't really believe in those. I think they are a little bit too much. And as a yacht designer, you have to be very careful about the functionality of your boat and about the building of it to be real, to be feasible.
Okay, going back to where we started, can you tell us the difference between a classic yacht and the futuristic one, advantages and disadvantages that can be?
So me, I am more of a classic person. I like more the classic boats. And that's because I started doing crazy spaceship concepts in the beginning. This was what I was doing. I liked them very much. And then slowly I started to realize that they are not working. So you just do them. Yes, they are nice, they are pretty, but in reality, they don't do anything. So I switched to the classic design. because the classic design has a purpose. Every shape that you do has a purpose for it. It's not just there. So I think the new projects are really good considering the technology that is being put into those. Like the boat, there is this yacht called Artifact, which has, it looks very nice, yes, but it also has a lot of features for eco-friendliness and everything, every part of it, it's well thought out. So I agree with this kind of futuristic boat, but I don't like the crazy ones. It's good for them to be made so we can have, let's say, if a client comes and he wants something different, he can take inspiration from that. So it's nice to have them, but you always have to bring them down a little bit more. So back down to earth.
Let's say a little bit more explicit for the people who doesn't know what's mean and what is the difference between naval architect and the yacht designer.
So I think it's the same as architecture. They're very similar. When you build a house, is very similar to building a boat. So the naval architect is the one who does the structure of the boat and who is thinking about the physics and mathematics behind the boat, the hull, the part of the hull that is under the water, and all of that. And as a designer, you have to know also a little bit of naval architecture. Because if I do a shape, let's say, and then I send it to the naval architect and he says, oh no, we cannot do this because it's going to fall or it cannot be sustained by this, let's say you put a pillar and it's not enough. And then if you do this, let's say you put this pillar in the middle of the structure, you have to change all the general arrangement around this pillar, and then you send it to the naval architect and he says, no, we need 5. So you have to change everything. So as a designer, you have to know also naval architecture. But of course, there are a lot of softwares that are calculating so many stuff that as a designer, you cannot learn unless you do a naval architecture school. But the naval architect, it's very technical. He doesn't do any design. It's only math and physics.
And what is the difference between yachts, cruise ships, commercial ships, regatta yachts? They are part of the maritime industry as well, but the design is different.
Yeah, so again, I will do the comparison with architecture because you have hotels and then you have private apartments and then you have, I don't know, like office buildings. So it's the same with boats. You have the private boat and then you have the cruise ship, which is like a hotel and so on. And they have different purposes. So of course the design is going to be different. And it's for sure the luxury side of the boat, which is the private owned yacht. It's the best for us as designers because you have the most freedom in the design. Unlike let's say a race sailing yacht or a cruise ship, there you just need to focus on the functionality and what it needs to do. So everything is related to, let's say, speed for the racing boats and then for the cruise ship for the space for the people. So yes, the difference is the purpose.
Yeah, coming in this world, we're speaking about the top richest people in the world, and building these yachts can be a lot of money, yeah, by costing in time. How this world reaches people seems to as people, like how did they treat you when they meet you to make a new project for them?
Well, they are really nice, very relaxed. But then again, of course, we meet them when they are in vacation, let's say. So when they come to do a yacht project, they are very happy about it. They are super excited. So they act really nice, and they are very normal, relaxed people, actually, which was surprising to me, of course, at first, because you expect this serious person who is I don't know, but they were very nice all the time.
Well,
and of course you can have a difficult client. It happens, but
like everywhere in any domain.
Yes. yes.
Well, what's your plans for your future? What's your vision in this industry? How do you think it will gonna be?
Well, I think it's, I was talking also with my classmates and with the people that are starting as young professionals now, that for us, it's a great opportunity to get into this industry right now because of all the technological changes and the fact that all the regulations and everything are, how do you say, they are making the boats be more eco-friendly, which for me it's a very big thing, and I think we should focus on that. So I think that the focus should be this, and it's starting to be. Also, there are a lot of clients who are willing to invest in a eco-friendly boat, so that's really nice. And for me as a designer, everything, the boat itself is going to change, so the design, the interior and everything, because of these new propulsion systems, because of the new regulations of how you have to do the boat so we can reach certain areas and so on. And I think it's really good that in the future we will do more of this and see more of eco-friendly boats. And my plan is to study as much as I can so I can implement these innovative features and to make them actually work. Because like I said, there are a lot of state-of-the-art designs that are not actually buildable. Like the solar panels in the beginning, when they started putting solar panels on the boats, they were not efficient. You had the boat and it was like, okay, you have solar panels on it, but they weren't doing anything really. So that's why I think we as designers have to do much more research and to study more. Like my plan is to go also to a naval architecture school, so I have all this information and then I can do my design much better. This is the plan for the next years, just study more.
Congratulations for taking the step in your future career in the yachting industry. You have already 2-3 years in this industry, and in which countries have you been till now with your work by traveling?
So I've been to Italy to the shows, the boat show, the Super Yacht Design Festival, like I said. And then we also went, again, with the competition, we were invited to go to Lucian shipyard in Germany, which was a really nice experience, and seeing the actual shipyard and how they build a boat and how organized they are and how everything was going very smooth, even though there were hundreds of people there, but they were working very smooth because they had this great system. And we went to Germany, we went to France, to the Monaco Yacht Show. This was with my job. And yeah, I think these are the countries that I went to with work.
Yeah, Lucian is in Bremen Vegasack in Germany, the most let's say expensive shipyard in the world, and the quality from there, it's very, very good. Yeah, and it's part of one of my project when I worked there. For the new build, the motor yacht Topaz 147 meters, I done there. So it was an amazing experience, and I know all the process and how many engineers and naval architects and yacht designers, and it's really nice and interesting experience. Also, they organize in Dubai in the November a summit on Queen Elizabeth II, a classic yacht, old one, regarding an eco-friendly environment. So it's so nice. Everybody starting to go through this eco-friendly environment. This is your first job because you are very young, and or did you have any other jobs before?
Yes, so as a professional yacht designer, this is my first job. I started working with Sanri 4 months ago, and it's been amazing. And I did an internship before, of course, part of my master, which was also very interesting, but it was very different from what I do now, because I was doing more engineering on sailing boats. So now this job is much more close to what I do. It's strictly exterior design, and it's really good. And I did have jobs before, but they had nothing to do with the industry. So I was a graphic designer for a while, and then I did some industrial design projects like furniture. but not very much, because I got into boats very quickly. So I did a little bit of design, and then I realized, okay, I don't like this. I tried to do some cars. I got into the transportation design, and then I realized that, okay, let's start with boats. They were the most interesting. So
yeah,
I focused only on that.
okay. Well, what is the benefit to have this beautiful job as a yacht designer?
Well, it depends. If you have to be very passionate to do this job, and when you are this passionate, you like just the job itself. But the nicest part is that you never get bored, because you do the project in the office, but then you also have to go to the shipyard to check the construction, or then you have to go to a yacht show, which is nice again, and you go back in the office for 2 weeks and you have a client meeting for a new project, and then there is always something happening, and it's very nice because you work in a team. This is what I like most, is even if you have times when you work alone. So if I do a concept now, of course I will work alone for a week to set the concept, but then you have to go and talk with the team, like I said, with the engineer, with the naval architect, and it's very nice.
So yeah, in this industry and also in other industry, one of the advantages of this job is to be passionate for what you are doing. And this is I think is the first condition to work in this beautiful industry. What advice you can give for the people who wants to become a yacht designer? Which conditions in this industry they need to have to become a yacht designer?
Well, like I said, the first thing would be to be passionate, because it's very hard. It's not an easy job. So if you have to be passionate, so you have to be able to put all those 10 hours of work, because it's never just 8 hours. It's always more, and you need to, for me, for example, I'm obsessed with what I'm doing, so I don't see the time passing, and that is nice. But it's also very hard to get into the industry, because it's a small one, and there are not so many places or opportunities for jobs. So if you want to get a job, for example, you have to actually go get it, because if you just wait for it, it's never going to come to you, because there are so many people looking for that same job. So you have to be very proactive about it. And being passionate always helps with this.
And yeah, we just showed Randy's the sketches of what you did for Motor Yacht Ophelia. What's happening after with this project? You give to who? What are the steps till the end? They were gonna build this project.
So after you do the sketch, and then you get into the 3D model, and you do the 3D model of the boat, you usually send it to the naval architects team, so they can check the design and see if they can build it, also the shapes, and then they also make estimate of the cost of it. So sometimes not sometimes, all the time, it comes back to you, and you just do this back and forth between the designer and the naval architect office, where they keep saying, you have to change this, and then you say, no, but I like this very much, let's try to keep it. And I try to keep my idea, and they try to keep let's say the cost maybe lower, or the building of the shape more easy. So it's like this compromise, which is it's fun to do, it's interesting. And then it just, after we agree on something, then it just goes in parallel. There is the general arrangement of the boat and the interior arrangements and so on of each cabin. And then from this step, it just goes into building, I guess.
Well,
so
that's
overall, generally speaking, these are the steps.
That's making to be more challenging the project then.
Sorry, what?
That's making to be more challenging the project then.
Yes, but it's that's the fun part always, because as a designer, your job is to solve problems. So if you have more problems, it's much fun to solve them and so on.
Yeah, that's really nice. You come up with all these details about Yacht Designer projects and what exactly does a Yacht Designer in this beautiful world. If you have any advice or anything else that you can let us know, just let us know. If not, maybe you can let us know where the people they can find your website, your social media, if they want to contact you.
Okay, so for advice, like I said, just do a lot of studying of the boat, do sailing, that helps a lot also. So just be around boats. Doesn't matter if you want to be exterior, interior designer or project manager, be around boats as much as you can, because it helps very, very much to know the boat overall, inside and outside. And they can find me on Instagram is Ioana Valentina, and on LinkedIn is Ioana Corcodel, and also there is my website ioanavalentina.com, where you can see my design articles where I talk about this new eco-friendly world that we get into, and where you can see other projects of mine.
Well, I wish you all the best that can happen in this beautiful and personal life as well. I hope that I will gonna see you next year winning the project that you're gonna make it, because I trust and I see that you are very talented and young girl in this industry. So yeah, please keep in touch and just watch Ioana Corcodel for her new beautiful projects. Thank you once again that you come here for this video Zoom interview, and it was a pleasure to have you here. I wish you all the best, and for sure we keep in touch as always. Have a beautiful
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.